What's up, HSM? Have you ever been disappointed by somebody that you really looked up to? Like a celebrity, an actor, a musician, or an athlete, and you thought they were the best. But then something came out in the news about them, and you realized, oh man, they're not the person I thought they were. And that's because they've got this persona that shows up in their social media or in the interviews that they do, and it makes them look great. But then there's this other side of them, the side that only shows up around their closest friends and family. It's their true self, and it's not as flattering. And I think it's easy for us to sit back and point fingers at those people and make judgments about them and say, I can't believe they would live like that. They're such hypocrites. But I think before we do that, we need to take a step back and look at ourselves and be real. A lot of times we do that exact same thing. We put up this persona around certain people and then we're real around others. We act one type of way when we're at church or around our teachers or our parents, but then when we're with our friends, we act totally different. We have attitudes and thoughts that don't line up with the way of Jesus. There's this disconnect between what we're doing and what we're thinking inside. But here's the thing, God isn't fooled by appearances. Actually, in Jesus' most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus spoke to a whole crowd of people, but he specifically addressed some people who experienced this same disconnect between their actions and their thoughts. Outwardly, they looked great, but Jesus wasn't fooled. They are doing all the right things, they're saying the right things, but Jesus challenged them essentially by saying this. He said, you might look great on the outside, but let's take a look on the inside. You see, these people were following the law to a T. They got it down. But the law only dealt with behavior, with the actions. But Jesus saw right past that appearance and he went to the heart. Jesus is concerned with the heart. He would take a law that people were familiar with, like you shall not commit murder, and he'd say, that's true, but I'm going to take it a step further. I say to you, even if you're angry with your brother, you're liable to judgment. Or you've heard, you shall not commit adultery. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you even look at a woman with lust, you've already committed adultery with her in your heart. What Jesus was doing was taking things from the level of actions and taking them down to the level of the heart. So my question for you guys is this. How's your heart? How are you really doing? Does the condition of your heart match your actions? Are you the same person on the inside and the outside? Are there any attitudes, thoughts, or patterns in your life that you need Jesus to deal with? Are you putting on a show for some people? Are you fronting? If we're honest, we all have areas that we need Jesus to deal with. We all have times where we curse people out in our heads, or we have a negative thoughts towards our parents. We have anger, lust, dishonesty, pride, desire to impress others, lack of trust, a lack of care or concern for other people. And Jesus doesn't just want to clean up our actions. He wants to deal with those things at a deeper level. The whole point of what I'm saying here is Jesus isn't about behavior modification. He's not. He's about heart transformation. But how does that happen? How do you get heart transformation? Actually, Paul talks about this, and he says this, don't copy the behavior and the customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. In order to allow Jesus to transform us from the inside out, we got to be mindful of what's coming from the outside in. The health of your heart is determined by what you feed it. What you allow into your heart and mind shapes you. The media you take in is going to affect your thoughts, attitudes, and actions. So this week I'm going to give you 2 action steps to allow you to follow Jesus better and allow him to continue to transform your heart and to allow him to begin to deal with some of that junk that's up in your life. So number 1, take a look at what you're allowing into your heart and mind. Evaluate the shows you're watching, the games you're playing, the music you're listening to, who you're following on TikTok and Instagram. And I'm not the media police. I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't watch. But I am telling you, you should probably use wisdom. I want to illustrate it to you like this. Let's say you got a big athletic event coming up. Right before the game or the race, you pound a bunch of pixie sticks. That is not going to help you perform well. This is junk food. Instead, you know this, you're going to look for something healthy that's going to help you perform better. In the same way, when it comes to consuming media, we need to ask the question, is this going to help me get closer to Jesus or push me further from him? Is it true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, and admirable? If it's not, you probably got to cut it out. Get rid of it. Get that junk out of your life. That's number 1. Number 2, once we got the junk out, we got to bring some truth in. Get the good in. So that might look like a couple different things for you. It might look like reading your Bible daily. It might look like spending time in prayer either in the morning or at the night. It might look like jumping on a Bible reading plan on the YouVersion app. It might be joining a group here at HSM. Whatever it looks like, you got to get the truth in. Because the health of your heart is determined by what you feed it. We will see you guys next time.